In one moment, his beast betrayed him in front of everyone, and at that same moment, everything changed. Gu Xing was the weakest student in the academy. Nobody respected him. Then his own beast abandoned him for another master. Everyone laughed at him, but Gu Xing stayed calm. Instead, he sold the traitor beast for 20 million coins. A few hours later, he found a broken girl hidden inside the trash section. Nobody wanted her, but the moment Gu Xing checked her talent, his expression changed instantly, and moments later, golden light covered the entire sky. That was the moment. People started realizing something was terribly wrong, because the weak student everyone mocked before was hiding something absolutely terrifying. Shadows flickered in front of the beast-taming altar. The summoning array glowed with a blinding white light. Students watched with pale, nervous faces. Some summoned excellent beasts, but many failed. Gu Xing stood in the silent crowd. He was a transmigrator. He quickly understood the rules of this brutal world. Here, monsters were deadly. Survival was everything. Suddenly, the teacher shouted, "Next!" Gu Xing stepped forward. His hand touched the cold surface of the altar. A pillar of purple light shot straight into the sky. The entire crowd went dead silent. Purple light? An epic talent beast? The teacher's eyes widened in sheer disbelief. This was history in the making. From the light, a slender girl walked out. She had small, dark bat wings. "An enchanting demon!" the teacher gasped. "Epic level. She is incredibly rare." Gu Xing stared at her. Then, a transparent panel flashed before his eyes. Enchanting demon. Talent, epic 2 stars. Skills, desire absorption. His heart raced in his chest, a cheat code. He could see her hidden potential. The teacher urged him quickly. "Sign the contract now!" Gu Xing reached out, preparing to sign. A massive bird tore through the sky and landed. A wealthy man jumped down. It was Chen Xian, a powerful merchant. His eyes locked onto the enchanting demon with pure greed. "Congratulations," Chen Xian said with a fake oily smile. "Sell her to me." Gu Xing felt a cold shiver run down his spine. "I refuse," Gu Xing said instantly. Chen Xian laughed, his eyes turning cold. 10 million, think about it. You are just a student." But Gu Xing knew her true value. She was worth far more than gold. "No," Gu Xing repeated. But then, a soft, chilling voice spoke beside him. "I think he is right." Gu Xing froze. He slowly looked down. The enchanting demon was speaking. Silence filled the room. Every single eye locked onto the enchanting demon. Slowly, she moved away from Gu Xing. She took a step directly toward Chen Xian. Betrayal. Gu Xing stood completely frozen. In this world, beasts usually died for their masters. But she was different. He stared at her beautiful, innocent face. But he knew it was all a fake act. Instead of panicking, Gu Xing smiled. He wasn't sad. He felt relieved. "Interesting," he chuckled softly. "It seems some beasts don't understand basic loyalty." Chen Xian laughed out loud, deeply pleased. "Ms. Enchanting Demon, come with me. My family will give you everything you need." He looked back at Gu Xing with a mocking grin. "She chose me. You wouldn't make things difficult for her, right?" Suddenly, Wang Yi stepped forward, furious. "The law is clear. A trade needs the master's consent. Since when does the beast get to decide?" He looked at Gu Xing, trying to reassure him. "Don't worry. If you say no, nobody can take her." Gu Xing turned his gaze back to the enchanting demon. She looked absolutely desperate to leave him. Yet, he remained completely calm. "Mr. Chen," Gu Xing spoke up, "I agree to the trade." Chen Xian and the beast smirked, feeling victorious. But Gu Xing wasn't finished. "However, double the price, 20 million. Boom, the room went dead silent. That price was insane. A regular epic beast only cost 8 million. "Young brother, this price is—" Chen Xian tried to negotiate. "No negotiation," Gu Xing interrupted. His voice was ice cold. "If you don't pay, I will have her destroyed right now." The enchanting demon gasped, freezing in fear. She felt his raw, killing intent. She knew he was deadly serious. Terrified, she looked at Chen Xian for help. Chen Xian gritted his teeth in anger. He hated being pushed around, but the temptation of an epic beast was too strong. "Fine, I agree." Without hesitation, Gu Xing broke the contract. The beast immediately ran to Chen Shan, looking grateful. "I will help your son," she said sweetly. Chen Shan took his new prize and left. Wang Yi sighed deeply, patting Gu Xing on the shoulder. "I have seen many things, but a beast betraying its master? That is a first. Don't worry. With that money, you can buy a much better beast." "Thank you, Mr. Wang," Gu Xing replied. He walked out of the altar alone. The sun was setting, casting long shadows. He needed a new beast, and he needed it fast. The school selection was in just 10 days. He frowned, feeling the pressure. Without a beast, he couldn't pass the exam, but he still had 20 million in his pocket. Gu Xing raised his hand and stopped a taxi. "Take me to the largest beast taming shop in the city." Gu Xing stood before the Grand Beast Taming Shop. It was a massive, towering pyramid. Each level sold different tiers of beasts. Ignoring the lower floors, he went straight to the third level. He saw many excellent level beasts. They were strong, but they were not strong enough. He wanted the absolute best. He turned to a nearby staff member. "Are there any other beasts?" The staff member hesitated for a moment. "We have the logistics department. Those are the unsold ones." Gu Xing didn't waste a second and ran to the back. The room was dark, cold, and quiet. Dozens of beasts sat in the shadows. They were all broken, rejected, and abandoned. But then, in the furthest corner, a girl sat completely alone. She had long, flowing silver hair. She looked like a beautiful fallen angel. Gu Xing looked directly at her. Suddenly, a transparent panel flashed before his eyes. Name, Liu Li. Talent, Epic 9 stars. Status, damaged wings. Gu Xing gasped, his heart skipping a beat. Epic 9 stars? She was almost legendary. She was, without a doubt, the most powerful beast he had ever seen. As he stared, the system showed him a way to fix her wings. He had everything he needed to do it. He turned back to the staff member. "I want to buy her," he said. The entire room went dead silent. In the dark corner, Liu Li slowly looked up. Her eyes were wide with disbelief. She stared at the stranger standing in the light. Was he really choosing her? Gu Xing bought the angel for just 10,000 coins. It was a complete steal. Together, they walked into the quiet contract room. Liu Li stood by the summoning array. Her hands were shaking uncontrollably. She felt completely broken inside. "I cannot sign a contract," she sobbed, tears pooling in her eyes. "I am incomplete." Gu Xing looked at her. He could see the deep pain she was carrying. "Don't underestimate yourself," he said firmly. "You are exceptional." "No, I am not," she cried out. Gu Xing stepped forward and held her shoulders. "I have a way to fix you." He took out the materials he had just purchased. They cost almost all of his 20 million. Liu Li's heart raced in her chest. She wanted to believe him. One by one, she began to absorb the materials. Suddenly, a purple light exploded from her wounds, but it didn't stop there. The purple turned into a blinding golden glow. Legendary talent. Gu Xing couldn't believe his eyes. Her wings slowly unfolded. They were pure white, spotless, and radiant. Boom! A massive wave of raw energy shot straight into the sky. Miles away, in the city lord's mansion, a teacup shattered on the floor. The city lord stood up, staring out the window at the sky. "Is that a legendary guardian beast?" he whispered. Back in the contract room, Gu Xing checked his system. Legendary talent. He was completely breathless. Liu Li slowly knelt before him. Her amber eyes were filled with absolute determination. She asked to be the guard monster. Gu Xing smiled. He reached out his hand to her. "Welcome to the team, Liu Li." A single tear fell down her cheek. She was no longer a defective product. She was finally free. Gu Xing returned home. His sister, Gu Qianqian, was waiting inside. "You're back?" she asked. They sat down and ate dinner together. "The newbie trial starts tomorrow," she warned, her voice serious. "It is your only chance to grow. Be careful." Gu Xing nodded quietly. He understood the danger. The next day, the trial entrance was packed with a massive crowd. Students were frantically forming teams. Suddenly, everyone spotted Gu Xing. "He brought that useless beast," someone whispered. People immediately avoided him. Nobody wanted to die. Gu Xing didn't care about their whispers. He walked straight toward the entrance. Suddenly, a mocking voice cut through the air. "Hey! If it isn't the loser, Gu Xing!" Chen Ziming walked over with a smug grin. He held the enchanting demon close to his side. "Thanks for the beast," Chen laughed. "She is perfect." The enchanting demon smiled sweetly at him. "Only a genius like you deserves me," she said. The crowd burst into laughter. They all thought Gu Xing was finished, but Gu Xing remained completely calm. He even smiled faintly. He didn't need to argue with them. He had a secret. Beside him, Liu Li stood in the shadows. She was absolutely furious. Her fists were clenched so tight they turned white. "Stay calm," Gu Xing said quietly. "Focus on the trial." Liu Li took a deep breath. She nodded. Soon she would show them who the real number one was. They stepped through the glowing blue light gate. They arrived in a vast, foggy forest. A timer on their screens began to tick down from 4 hours. Time was short. They needed to kill monsters fast to level up. Liu Li hovered in the air, ready for battle. Suddenly the thick fog cracked. A beast charged out from the shadows. It was a Tier 2 barbaric bone bull, massive, heavy, and bloodthirsty. But Liu Li didn't panic. "Leave it to me, master," she shouted. Golden flames erupted from her hands. She summoned a giant, radiant holy sword. The bull roared and charged forward. Liu Li moved instantly. The massive beast was split clean in two. An instant kill. A bright blue light entered Liu Li. She leveled up to Tier 1. Gu Xing felt his own power surge. He hit Awakening Tier 1 too. Liu Li stood over the smoking corpse. Her fingers trembled. Tears rolled down her cheeks. "Did you see? I am not useless." Gu Xing stepped forward and hugged her tight. "You are an angel soaring in the sky." She wiped her tears. The doubt in her eyes vanished. She was ready now. They needed to hunt more monsters. But the thick mist made tracking hard. They had to move fast. In the monitoring room, Shufeng stared at the screen, his brow furrowed deeply. Gu Xing's points were jumping at an impossible speed. 200, suddenly, the number hit a staggering 5,000 points. Shufeng jumped straight out of his chair. "How is this possible?" He frantically checked the file. The crippled beast had somehow completely recovered. This kid was a genius. He turned to his assistant, his voice urgent. "Notify the city lord now!" Meanwhile, inside the dangerous trial, Liu Li leveled up once again. She was now at Awakening Tier 4. Suddenly she felt a powerful presence nearby. A Tier 5 bloodthirsty tiger. Without hesitation, they rushed toward the beast. Deep in the foggy valley, a student team was trapped. Captain Shen Ruoxu looked deadly pale. The giant tiger and 3 other beasts had them completely cornered. Death was closing in. But Gu Xing watched it all unfold from the shadows. He needed those points. He looked up at Liu Li. "Liu Li, activate Blazing Angel form." An explosive wave of energy erupted from her body. And in that single instant, everything changed. Red flames erupted. The gray mist evaporated instantly. A figure rose from the roaring fire. 4 wings burned with a blinding holy light. Golden eyes stared down coldly at the beasts. The monsters whimpered in absolute fear. Even the Tier 5 bloodthirsty tiger was frozen, unable to move. The captain, Shen Ruoxu, gasped. Her throat went completely dry. Is that a guardian beast?" Then Liu Li swung her sword. A massive crescent of crimson light sliced through the air. The 3 beasts didn't even have time to scream. Instant kill. The tiger tried to roar, but it was already over. One single strike. The Tier 5 tiger split clean in half. A surge of blue energy merged into Liu Li. She landed softly on the ground, looking tired. Then Gu Xing stepped out from the shadows. Shen Ruoxu froze in place. She could not believe her own eyes. Gu Xing simply nodded and left, disappearing into the fog. They had to keep leveling up. The trapped team stood there, completely shocked. They realized this beast was nothing short of legendary. If they ever met him again in battle, they would surrender instantly. Meanwhile, at the city lord's mansion, Commander Wei Yuan looked deeply disappointed. He had found absolutely no worthy talent in this city. The city lord, Xia Shu, felt embarrassed and tense. Suddenly, the assistant burst into the room, panting. "City lord, an S-class talent has appeared." The room went dead silent. Inside the city lord's mansion, the air froze. In the southern war zone, S-class talents were exceptionally rare. In a small town like Lin Yuan, they were unheard of. "Let's go," Wei Yuan commanded. He was deeply intrigued. The city lord's assistant quickly led them away. But back in the monitoring room, pure panic erupted. "This is impossible," Shu Feng screamed. "Is this a hack?" He stared at the screen, his eyes nearly popping out. The points were absolutely insane. "Why did the score jump so much?" Shu Feng stammered. "Did he clear the entire lair? Is this even possible for a newbie?" He spilled his hot coffee all over himself, but he didn't even notice. The giant number on the screen haunted him. 25,000 points. Meanwhile, the genius Chen Ziming was stuck at a mere 3,000. The highest record in a decade was only 3,500, Shu Feng whispered, trembling. He looked down at the system's potential rating for Gu Xing. It was a flawless SSS, inside the trial space. Liu Li stood on top of a massive mountain of beast corpses. She was breathing hard, but her grip on her sword was steady. "Master, they've learned," Liu Li said, looking ahead. Gu Xing looked at the valley entrance. Dozens of powerful beasts were blocking the path, trembling. "Seems they're afraid of being slain by us?" Gu Xing smirked. He checked the ticking timer. Remaining time, 3 minutes. Just 3 minutes left. "Just right," Gu Xing grinned. "Now we don't have to search for them." "Liu Li!" "Understood," she replied. Gu Xing gave the ultimate command. Blazing angel form, release. Golden divine light surged from her body, blinding the night. "Judgment!" Liu Li roared. A wave of pure white light swept across the valley. In an instant, the beasts were completely vaporized. Liu Li's aura flared as she hit Awakening Tier 5. Gu Xing quickly checked her stats. Her raw power could now easily crush Tier 7 beasts. But then, he frowned. He still couldn't find the rare materials needed to evolve her further. "Even the largest guardian beast shop in the city doesn't have these materials," Gu Xing muttered. He let out a heavy sigh. Cultivation of legendary talent is indeed beyond the reach of ordinary people. But he decided to focus on the present. Liu Li used her holy fire to clean her blood-stained wings. She walked back to Gu Xing's side, looking radiant. "Master, should we leave?" she asked softly. The timer finally hit 0. A cold, mechanical voice echoed through the forest. Trial ending, transporting participants. Gu Xing grabbed her hand tightly. "Hold on to me." A blinding white light swallowed the entire world. When Gu Xing opened his eyes, he was back in the crowded city plaza. Immediately, staff members rushed toward him like a tidal wave. Shu Feng reached him first, wearing a massive, respectful smile. "Student Gu Xing, your performance was truly astonishing. The city lord invites you for an immediate meeting." Gu Xing nodded, completely calm. He had expected this all along. "All right." The portal opened. The students returned to the crowded square. Chen Ziming stepped out, holding the enchanting demon close. A crowd of eager students surrounded him immediately. "Young Master Chen, surely you are first, right?" a student asked. Chen Ziming smiled, feeling incredibly smug. He tightened his grip on the enchanting demon. He had spent a massive fortune to secure his points. Confidence practically radiated off him. "I have worked hard," Chen Ziming boasted. "The first place belongs to me." Suddenly, the large screen in the center of the square flickered. The ranking began. The entire crowd watched the screen with intense tension. Names began to appear, counting down from 10 to 2. "The top 10 is almost finished," a student yelled. Chen Ziming looked at the screen with absolute pride. He waited for his name to flash at the very top. Suddenly, the screen updated. Chen Ziming's smile froze. "Impossible!" he shrieked. His face turned completely pale. He was rank 2. Trembling, his eyes locked onto the rank 1 spot. Rank 1, Gu Xing, points 44,300, potential evaluation, SSS. The entire square went dead silent, and then it absolutely exploded. "Oh my God!" a student screamed. 44,000 points? Is this a cheat code? Chen Ziming completely lost his mind. He shook with raw, uncontrollable rage. He lunged forward and grabbed a nearby staff member by the collar. "Cheating!" Chen Ziming roared. "This must be cheating!" The staff member coldly pushed him away. This score was verified by the city lord himself, the staff member snapped. Chen Ziming stumbled back, completely humiliated. The crowd's mocking gazes felt like sharp knives piercing his skin. He snapped. "I get it!" Chen Ziming hissed, his voice trembling with madness. "That wretch used my family's money to rig the score." He dragged the enchanting demon away, his eyes bloodshot. "I will hire 20 elite teams. In 10 days, I will make that waste kneel and beg." The enchanting demon followed him, trembling with fear. She glanced back at the giant screen one last time. The shining name, Gu Xing, mocked her from the very top. A cold dread began to pool in her stomach. Did she make a terrible mistake? Gu Xing walked into the quiet meeting room. An imposing figure sat silently at the head of the table. The city lord, Xia Shu, stood by the wall, looking incredibly tense. Immediately, Gu Xing felt a heavy, suffocating pressure fill the air. "Student Gu Xing," Xia Shu spoke up, his voice trembling. "This is Chief Wei Yuan." Wei Yuan was a legendary monarch-level beastmaster, a true pillar of the southern battle zone. "Congratulations on obtaining an SSS-class potential rating," Wei Yuan said, his voice echoing. "Thank you, Chief," Gu Xing replied, keeping his composure. Suddenly, Wei Yuan activated his domain power. A dark barrier surrounded them, isolating the room from the outside world. "Our defense construction is failing," Wei Yuan said, his expression turning grave. "We found a land of trial at a critical defense node." A holographic projection flickered to life. It showed a map with a red blinking danger zone. "It is an abyss-level trial," Wei Yuan explained. "I need you to team up with 2 other SSS-class talents to conquer it." Gu Xing hesitated, knowing the extreme danger. Seeing his hesitation, Wei Yuan opened a digital screen displaying rare, priceless treasures. Gu Xing's eyes suddenly widened. Right there on the screen, he saw a light crystal, the exact material needed to evolve Liu Li. "Does the military treasury have a whole piece of light crystal?" Gu Xing asked, his heart racing. "It is yours if you agree to participate," Wei Yuan replied with a firm nod. Gu Xing didn't hesitate for a second. "Deal." Every single second counted now. The defense gap was growing more dangerous by the moment. Wei Yuan stood up, his cape billowing behind him. "Time waits for no one. Let's set off now." Wei Yuan grabbed Gu Xing and Liu Li. They soared straight into the sky on a giant, majestic bird. The creature was massive and incredibly fast. It was likely a monarch-level beast. They tore through the clouds and entered a swirling blue light portal. 3 hours later, they landed heavily at a heavily guarded military base. Gu Xing stepped off the bird, his eyes scanning the area. 2 people were already waiting there in the cold wind. "This is Ying Bing and Qin Tian," Wei Yuan said. "Both are SSS-class talents." Ying Bing stood next to a majestic ice phoenix. Qin Tian stood beside a towering, rugged war trent. Gu Xing quickly checked their stats with his system. Ying Bing is strong, Gu Xing thought, but Qin Tian's beast is only average. Liu Li was still, without a doubt, the best. She had 4 incredible skills and perfectly balanced stats. Wei Yuan led the group to a ruined ancient hall. It was a long-forgotten elf holy land. "Place your hands on the stone platform to begin," Wei Yuan commanded. The 3 elite students stepped forward together. Qin Tian grinned, looking completely confident. "With me, this trial is in the bag," Qin Tian boasted. "I hope so," Wei Yuan replied, his voice serious. They touched the cold stone platform. In an instant, a blinding white light exploded, swallowing them whole. Wei Yuan stared at the empty stone platform. His knuckles tapped nervously against his leg. He was deeply worried. This trial was of the highest, most brutal difficulty. Even the most brilliant geniuses had failed miserably here before. Wei Yuan let out a heavy sigh and slowly turned away from the hall. "It's up to destiny now," Wei Yuan muttered. Inside the trial, the soil was pitch black and desolate. Qin Tian looked down at Gu Xing with arrogant pride. "Stay behind us, country folk," Qin Tian sneered. Gu Xing only smiled. He was more than happy to let the arrogant youth take all the risks. "No problem," Gu Xing said. "You lead ahead." Qin Tian marched forward confidently. Suddenly, 3 massive metal puppets blocked their path. "Don't intervene," Qin Tian shouted. "I can handle this." His giant war trent lunged forward, crushing the metal lumps easily. Qin Tian turned around, practically begging for praise. Very impressive, Liu Li said, her voice dripping with sarcasm. But then, 5 even stronger puppets materialized from the shadows. These ones were much faster, their blades gleaming. Qin Tian's face immediately broke into a cold sweat. He was visibly struggling to keep up. Seeing this, Ying Bing stepped forward. "I'll control, you attack," Ying Bing said coldly. She unleashed a freezing blast, locking the enemies in solid ice. Qin Tian seized the chance and smashed them to pieces. Together, they cleared the first checkpoint. Soon, the 3 reached the end of the zone. 3 dark, ominous passages stood before them. Each person had to enter one completely alone. Qin Tian looked at Gu Xing with deep doubt in his eyes. "You?" Qin Tian questioned. "Can you even manage?" Gu Xing didn't bother to argue. He turned and walked straight into the dark middle tunnel. "A man should never claim he can't," Gu Xing called back. Gu Xing stepped into the dark passage. Behind him, the entrance vanished into thin air. Suddenly, a mechanical puppet materialized from the shadows. It was an enhanced type, level 5. "Liu Li, deal with it," Gu Xing commanded. Liu Li flapped her wings, moving like lightning, one single golden slash. The puppet was split clean in 2. They moved deeper into the suffocating darkness. Level 6 puppets appeared, their attributes significantly higher, but Liu Li was still far faster. Then, the difficulty suddenly spiked. 2 puppets appeared at once. A heavy force field pressed down, trying to suppress Liu Li's power. But she broke through and destroyed them easily. Finally, they reached the end of the passage. 3 Tier 7 puppets blocked the path. A crushing triple force field locked onto them, threatening to pin them down. "Liu Li," Gu Xing said, his eyes cold. "Activate the blazing angel form." Liu Li replied. Crimson flames erupted from her body. Her attributes instantly doubled. 3 blinding sword rays cut through the air. In a fraction of a second, the puppets turned to ash. The final path swung wide open. Meanwhile, in the control room, Wei Yuan stared at the stone platform. His heart was heavy with worry. He knew how brutal this trial truly was. Suddenly, his adjutant gasped. "Sir, someone has passed the second checkpoint." Wei Yuan gasped. He stared at the monitoring screen. Indeed, one person had made it through. But then, in the blink of an eye, the screen flashed again. "Sir," the adjutant screamed, "another person passed." Wei Yuan roared, unable to believe his eyes. Ying Bing stepped out of the dark passage. She looked around, searching for a quiet corner to meditate and recover. A voice called out. Ying Bing stopped. She slowly turned around. Gu Xing was leaning casually against a stone pillar. Liu Li was hovering peacefully beside him. "How long have you been here?" Ying Bing asked, her voice tense. "About 10 minutes, Gu Xing replied. Ying Bing froze. A 10-minute gap. That meant his beast was far faster and stronger than her ice phoenix. Stunned, she stepped aside, unable to say a word. More time passed. Qin Tian still had not returned. Gu Xing stood up, brushing off his clothes. "Where are you going?" Ying Bing asked, frowning. "To the rescue," Gu Xing said. Ying Bing's eyes widened. "You're insane," she warned. "If you intervene in someone else's passage, the difficulty triples." But Gu Xing didn't stop. He didn't owe Qin Tian any favors, but he wanted to finish this mission. Inside the third passage, Qin Tian was completely trapped. His massive war trent was crumbling under heavy attacks. Qin Tian screamed in panic. "Why is this puppet so strong?" Suddenly, a blinding white light exploded. The unstoppable puppet was instantly turned to ash. Gu Xing stepped out calmly from the rising smoke. Qin Tian stammered, staring in shock. Gu Xing smirked. Is young Master Qin so beaten he can't even recognize his savior? He turned toward the exit. "Time to go, young Master Qin." They returned to the main hall together. Qin Tian stood there, completely stunned. He finally realized the truth. Gu Xing was far stronger than both him and Ying Bing. Ying Bing stared at Gu Xing, her heart racing with shock. This boy had just cleared a triple difficulty trial, all on his own. If you enjoyed this story and want to hear more like it, don't forget to subscribe. This way, you'll get notified as soon as a new story drops. See you in the next video.